Canada is ready to take a leadership role in building a coalition of like-minded countries who share our values. We believe in international cooperation. We believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas. And if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will.
Somebody want to tell him? Oh, this fella's out of touch. I'm telling you, man. I think he's drunk. Breathe in this walkie-talkie, sir. Oh, let's jump into this one, man. You just can't make this up.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again.
When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again.
And yes, together, we will make America great again. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, what's going on, family? I gotta stop laughing. I gotta calm down. They say, Rick, sir, calm down, sir. Breathe. Another day to sip on that gin is what them Canadians say. What's going on to my Canadian family? We got a lot of love from Canada on this channel. I'm just saying, we have a lot of love from Canada on this channel. And if you're new here, join the family. Yes, indeed. Ah! Oh, man, I swear, down here, we make stuff too strong, man. I don't know what kind of carbonation machines we be using, but they got to stop with all this, man. Sparkling water ain't supposed to be that strong. But what's going on, family? I hope everybody is blessed, well, healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life. Look at this dingleberry. And seeing what people are posting on him and just the internet, man, it's undefeated, man. We're going to have a good time, man, you know. But oh, Canada, a lot is going on, and it's happening very, very fast, man. You know. He says, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says, if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will. And ha 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 ha, bro. The state of Texas alone has a higher GDP than your entire country. Oh boy. Yeah, everybody has been posting this exact same clip of him saying, if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will. Yeah. You know. Oh, man.
The financial crisis, 2008-9, when I was governor, we avoided a recession. We're now in recession with GDP projected to fall by 1.2% this year.
What a day. Now, this is hilarious. Mark just promised to keep CBC and Radio Canada fully funded. The state-run propaganda machine. And how did he announce it? With a state-run propaganda video. You seriously can't make this stuff up. Mark admits counter tariffs are a wealth division regime meant to increase costs for Canadians. The government can transfer funds to sectors and benefit. What is he? This is economic insanity. Why not just drop income and sales taxes? That save families thousands a month.
But until America's willing to sit down at the table for that, we got to protect workers, we got to protect companies. And those aren't just words. We're taking every dollar we get from tariffs that we put on, and we're recycling it back directly to the workers and companies that are affected. So there are layoffs that have started in the industry. Some of them, Stellantis, for example, a couple weeks downtime at one of their factories. We're making sure that money goes to make sure those workers are made whole. We're also saying, and this is not an issue for the leading companies, but for some it will be, you don't have to pay your taxes for a while. You have to pay them ultimately when things get going again, or you can borrow directly from us to tide yourself over. Again, protecting the industry so that we can negotiate as a country from a position from strength. But in
oh boy, man. We're going to read this last one before we get into a part of the video that I want to check out. Prime Minister of Canada, who has been directly linked to Jeffrey Epstein, is confronted in the streets.
Mark Carney, what about those kids on Epstein Island? Mark Carney, what about the kids on Epstein Island? Canada wants to know, what about those children on Epstein Island? Do you have any idea about them, what you did with them? Canada wants to know.
Oh, damn. It goes down to dreaming time.
Minded countries who share our values. We believe in international cooperation. We believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas. And if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will.
Now, no disrespect to any of the fine Canadians in the audience here today, but Canada's GDP is around 8% of what America's is, while their population is around 12%.
Shout out to them Canadians, man. Y'all know I'm gonna have a good laugh, a good time, man. We just got to keep it real. You know, ain't nothing wrong with it. You just always got to be real. You know, in life, you got to be real. We got to put the facts out there. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, that brother's a little out of touch. I think that brother's drunk. I think that brother needs to he needs to breathe in a walkie-talkie. I'm just saying. Excuse me, sir. Breathe in this walkie-talkie. Let's get that blood that blood alcohol level. Let's breathe in this walkie-talkie, sir. Let's check them levels. Somebody's drunk.
That is to say, Canada isn't going to be stepping into America's shoes anytime soon. I also have to say, it is just ridiculous to hear him say, "We believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas." No, he doesn't. Despite being a part of NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, Canada has maintained a 298% tariff on American butter, a 245% tariff on American cheese, and a 163% tariff on American eggs. Folks, that's not exactly free trade. I have to be honest here, everyone. I'm getting a little bit tired of all of these other countries trying to gaslight America about free trade when they've all been tariffing us for decades. It's all getting just a little bit too shameless for my liking. But you know what? Because we mentioned NAFTA, take a look at what VP Vance had to say about all of this just yesterday afternoon.
But we care the most about American workers and about American small businesses, and they're the ones who are really going to benefit from these policies. Think about how many factories we've seen close down. Since NAFTA in the early 90s, 90,000 American factories have been closed down. That's small towns that have been blighted. That's millions of workers who have lost their jobs. That has to stop.
And that's your wheelhouse.
President Trump, that is my wheelhouse.
That's
I
where
grew
you're
up
from.
in a town where you had 10,000 great American steel workers, and my town was one of the lucky ones. Now probably has 1,500 steel workers in that factory because you had economic policies that rewarded shipping our jobs to China instead of investing in American workers. And that's what President Trump, he ran on changing it, he promised he would change it, and now he has. And I think Americans are going to reap the benefits.
And so, folks, really what we're talking about here is globalism versus Americanism. All of these other countries, Canada included, that have been disproportionately imposing trade tariffs on the United States of America are now absolutely freaking out because we've snapped out of this globalist stupor during which our incompetent leaders allowed our nation's wealth to be completely stripped away. And you know what? Yesterday evening, Stephen Miller actually had an absolutely amazing breakdown of this entire situation.
Oh, I've seen this.
Take a look.
What is globalization? What is this economic policy that our elites in the United States, so-called elites, have had for the last half century, Democrat and Republican? Globalization is the redistribution of American wealth to foreign countries. It is a formal policy of trying to develop foreign nations at the expense of the U.S. working and middle class. Trillions of dollars that would be in the pockets of American workers is now in China, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Canada, Mexico, all across Africa, all across Asia. It is the great theft of American prosperity. Prosperity that was won through our victory in multiple wars. We left World War II as the dominant economic unipolar superpower. And instead, over the ensuing decades, all of that wealth, all of that manufacturing, all of that industry was ripped apart by our elites, shipped to foreign countries, and then they sent us the bill. They said, you have to protect Korea, you have to protect Europe, you have to protect Canada, you have to protect Japan. We won't take your cars, we won't take your agriculture, we'll take away your steel industry, your aluminum industry, your copper industry, your electronics industry. All of the national industries that you need to be secure and successful as a country. So what President Trump is saying is, these are the injustices you have to remedy. This isn't just about moving around some lines on a ledger. This is about remedying the systemic injustice that says the streets of America are filled with European cars and Japanese cars, but the streets of Europe and Japan have no American cars. This is about saying that the American steel industry, which once built and sustained the modern world and is now a former husk of itself, coming back now thanks to Trump's tariffs, has to be completely revitalized.
Stephen.
Folks, that is what all of this is about. Americanism versus globalism. And you can't have both. It has to be one or the other. And you know what? Here's the truth. If you want to make this country great again and truly put America first, this whole globalist experiment has got to come to an end. Honestly, I would have expected some of our allies around the globe to understand the dire situation that we're currently in. Our nation is broke, our national debt is at $36 trillion, our domestic infrastructure is crumbling, and up until 2 months ago, things have only been getting worse. So with all of that considered, it's actually astounding that some of our allies are attempting to make us feel bad for no longer giving out free rides. It almost seems like some of these other countries were really only interested in maintaining a relationship with the United States because we were dumb enough to keep giving out free money. But hey, you know what? I guess it's true what they say. When times get tough, you really do learn who your true friends are. I also have to say, at the same time, I really do sympathize with the many awesome Canadians that have to live under this incompetent progressive leadership that they have. As things stand right now, Canada's progressive leadership is pretty much planning on running the country's economy into the ground. They've decided that that's a better outcome than just working with President Trump and meeting him halfway. Because once again, it's worth keeping in mind that the only reason Trump imposed trade tariffs on Canada in the first place is because Canada's progressive leadership refused to help shut down their side of the border. Seriously, they've chosen to completely cut ties with the United States of America instead of just helping to secure our shared border. It really is just mind-blowingly insane. But you know what? Down here in America, we can all be happy that finally we are putting America first.
Hours ago, interim Prime Minister Carney said the same thing. We are cutting off all ties to the United States. There's no cooperation anymore. That, of course, is sheer stupidity. 75%.
I told you, I think he need to be drugged. I'm telling you, man. Breathe in this walkie-talkie. I think he crossfaded. I think he been drinking and popping and smoking. Popping, smoking, drinking. Yeah. After he got out and said that live on TV, yeah, I'm telling you. Somebody need to go, they need to do a full-blown check. Somebody need to go investigate that, man.
Of the output of the Canadian market for over 100 years has been sold to the U.S., and 17 states in the U.S. call Canada their #1 trading partner. There is no way that's going to happen. But if you want to be tough and you want to sound important and you're trying to get elected and you're the only person that can save every Canadian from the evil Trump, that's exactly what you say. Navarro's saying the same thing. These tariffs are in perpetuity. We will fix this. We will push back the world. All of this rhetoric and noise, it's not the signal. It's all noise. And in the end, I think everybody's better off if we get to reciprocal tariffs of 0. So the countries you care about, that you want to do business with, you end up with 0 tariffs and you support a free trade mandate. It's very hard to see that outcome in the cloud we're in right now and all the rhetoric and jawboning. But if you're an investor like I am, you think long term. And so the concerns that Goldman have about housing prices and inflation on goods and services, it takes a long time for that to happen. Not 2 weeks, not 2 months. Yeah. So I am in the more of the, let's get calm down here. Let's let the rhetoric be fired at each other. Every country, Britain's doing the same thing right now. Well, sure. You should hear the...
CNN don't understand. I don't even know why. Kevin, I don't even know why. I don't even know why we go on CNN. I don't know why we go on CNN. They don't understand. You know. I don't know why. I really don't understand why we still go on CNN.
The global economy is fundamentally different today than it was yesterday. The system of global trade anchored on the United States that Canada has relied on since the end of the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped to deliver prosperity for our country for decades, is over. Our old relationship of steadily deepening integration with the United States is over. The 80-year period when the United States embraced the mantle of global economic leadership, when it forged alliances rooted in trust and mutual respect, and championed the free and open exchange of goods and services, is over. Well, this is a tragedy. It is also the new reality. We
breathe in this walkie-talkie. Drunk as hell.